Desunmuted.
Bitcoin is on the move again as it has officially crossed $65,000. What is behind the move? We got CPI numbers that came in today looking favorable for the moment. Is that the reason Bitcoin went up? We have some news to share with you. Vanguard's new CEO is pro-Bitcoin. What does that mean for the second largest asset manager in the world? And will $7.7 trillion now be in play for exposure to the Bitcoin ETF? Speaking of exposure to the Bitcoin ETF, two new fund managers have arose from the ashes and in their filing stated that they own Bitcoin ETF. Also, big news from Robinhood and Solana. What does that mean for the Sol token? A new utility is coming via Robinhood. We also have some news to share about AI, OpenAI's new demos, and what does that mean for the AI tokens? Which ones are getting ready to soar? We have that to talk about. We're going to take a look at the markets and much, much more on today's episode of Sin City Crypto. Let's go. Hola! It's your boy, Big Rob, back in the house. Welcome to Sin City Crypto. If it's your first time checking us out, we're the entertainment-focused cryptocurrency channel where we take old, boring, and, well, stale information that other channels put together. We package that whole turkey up in a fun and sexy way. Bitcoin absolutely rallied this morning. I went to bed. Well, you know why, right? Why? We have our special guest. Kelly Kellum joining us.
I came here to pump the markets, you know. The markets are ready.
Man of the people.
There's a lot of news that you're bringing up that we're going to be covering today that there's some tasty little nuggets that are actually going to also, I think, help support some of that pumpage. But does that mean it's only up from here? I think we have a lot to talk about.
Speaking of tasty nuggets, our biggest Dino Nugget fan is also in studio. Ashley, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
We're great. Thank you so much for joining us.
You might have a contender, though, because I am a Dino Nugget fan.
You are.
I'm on a diet, so you can take the cake.
Oh, I'm
Interesting.
so glad.
You know who else likes Dino Nuggets? My children. And they're all under the age of 11. Now, that's besides the point here. We got a packed house today. We got a lot to talk about. So let's jump right in. Let's talk about ETFs. We kind of start every show like this. Well, this is important, right? This is what the institutions, the fund managers, all the people that have the billions and trillions of dollars, this is their way of getting exposure to Bitcoin. Let's take a look at the Bitcoin flows from yesterday. This is according to Farsight. May 13th, BlackRock, Goose Egg, Fidelity, 38.6 million. ARK brought in 20.3 million. And a goose egg from Grayscale. Actually, I lied. May 14th is what we look at. So scratch everything I said. 0 from BlackRock, 8.1 million from Fidelity, and 133 million from ARK. ARK, we're going to go over why in a second here. A couple of fund managers have decided to go with ARK. It's great that there's so many different options for people to choose from, whether it's Fidelity, BlackRock, TradFi household names or household crypto names like Grayscale and a company like ARK that's been around for a while. Grayscale did see outflows of around 50.9 million. Still, net flow positive $100.5 million. I did say a couple of fund managers, the first one being Boothbay. Never heard of them, but I know they got $150 million of the Bitcoin ETF via BlackRock in their new SEC filing shows. They're now BlackRock ETF's largest reported holder. And this is a fund manager that I've never heard of. I don't know about you guys on the panel here if you've ever heard of it. You're probably watching at home. I don't know if you've heard of it either. The other one here is Pine Ridge Advisors discloses Bitcoin ETF holdings worth $205 million in their new SEC filing. That's 23% of their $890 million of AUM. So typically the number being thrown around is 1% or at the max 5%. This company, 23% YOLO'd into the Bitcoin ETF. It's very interesting to see this because this presents Bitcoin, I feel like presents an opportunity, right? There's always a certain point in a company's life where they have that one sliver of chance of opportunity to really catapult themselves ahead and really kind of put a separation between them and the competitors. Could smaller advisors and fund managers like Boothbay like Pine Ridge, like some other one who's maybe got $200-300 million in assets under management, decide, hey, we're going to take a risk. We're going to allocate 20 to 50% of our AUM in Bitcoin. We feel like the price is going to appreciate over the next, 6 to 12 months. Put them on the map. You can show gains. Hey, we made our investors 300% in 12 months, in 18 months, whatever the case may be, and catapult them potentially into the upper echelon of fund managers. Something interesting to think about. I'll start with you first, Kelly. What are your thoughts here on the two fund managers, and what are your thoughts on the flows with Grayscale seeing again negative outflows?
Well, the biggest thing that comes to mind right now for me is not that there's one, not that there's two, but that there's been just a nonstop, just layering of dominoes falling in the last, I feel like the last 3 weeks. Or what's actually truly coming to pass is we're finally getting acknowledgement from the filings showing up that some of these purchases have been made even a few weeks or a couple months back. But what this sparks to me is the fact that there's been only 152 ETFs out of 3,400 that have hit a $10 billion assets under management. The Bitcoin ETF did that not only in record time. I think the fact that it has done it in record time, and we've seen this type of appetite, not only from retail out there buying, but now this cascading, this dominoes falling with institutions, banks. I mean, it's going to be a question who doesn't own Bitcoin in 5 years' time, I think. And so right now we're seeing the fact that this appetite is there. It's making it's not so much of a taboo thing to even mention that you're considering Bitcoin on your balance sheet like you would have 3 years ago. You know, any one of these fund managers, pension funds, state treasuries, any of these different things that are getting involved now, all of them would have absolutely moonshot Bitcoin. So the fact that we're getting this now, it actually shows you the stability that we're at right now before the fireworks happen. So that's what I'm thinking of right now. I can't say that the Grayscale rotation, the rotation out of Grayscale is finished yet, but we've clearly seen it slow down quite dramatically over time. In fact, if you pull up on your screen CoinAnk, CoinAnk, I think .com, and go to ETFs, there's a great graph there that shows the Grayscale outflow graph, but then it also shows if you go to the ETF market and then scroll down. Yeah, so that's the ETF that's a Grayscale ETF outflows on that bottom graph there. And you see them, I mean, tapering down close to that zero. You know what it looks a lot like? That M2 money supply that's also flipped positive. So not only we're getting less sell pressure, we're getting the fuel for the fire to burn to push Bitcoin higher. So if you're not bullish, I don't know what you're looking at. Hit that like button, and hola to all you Sin City amigos.
You know, you mentioned $10 billion, right? You look at BlackRock, obviously, they're at 15.5. Fidelity's not too far off. They're only at 8.1. And you mentioned Grayscale. At some point, they're going to run out of Bitcoin to sell, right? They don't have infinity Bitcoin, so at some point they will run out of Bitcoin to sell. And so, I don't know, Rob, what are your thoughts here? And what are your thoughts on 23% of their AUM? This was, forget the name of the company already. This was Pine Ridge. 23% of their AUM went into Bitcoin. I mean, that's pretty massive. You think we're going to see more of this?
I mean, think about how many large companies have an overexposed portfolio on gold or other commodities. And so for me, I look at it like there are going to be outliers or flyers out there that have a larger position. I think that the largest asset managers will diversify risk and keep a portfolio that is probably around that standard 1 to 2%, or perhaps even less than that. Maybe some of these big guys will eventually get a larger percentage exposure, maybe up to 5%. But I think that we will see more companies have a larger position on Bitcoin. I mean, look no further than MicroStrategy, and you know, that's one example of one company that went all in. But at the same time, you know, you're also going to get asset managers who are like, hey, you know what? We really believe in this. I mean, we were talking about yesterday, like when we look at the short-term future, you know, where we're at kind of in the cycle with the economic environment, it's hard to make a case that Bitcoin's price is going to significantly draw down from where we're at now. Outside of maybe the markets being overbought and maybe the price of Bitcoin has run up a little too hard lately or a little bit earlier in the cycle. Outside of that, I find it very difficult to come up with any narratives that would give a significant pullback to Bitcoin to say, down to 40,000 or something of that nature. And so looking for being forward looking, especially in the commodities market, and then particularly with Bitcoin, obviously, I think that it's kind of a no-brainer that if you get a position on a Bitcoin now, that you're going to realize some pretty significant gains moving forward in the next 2 years. And so a 25% allocation, I think I don't know who's sitting back there, but it might be somebody I know.
On that note, I think that one of the best, most bullish cases that we have right now, that we had the ETF just launched, it gives retail access, but also traditional access to funds, to state, everything. It gives access to everything for anybody that's not yet in crypto. But before this, preceding all of this, Michael Saylor took a huge leap with MicroStrategy. And so we have an incredible proof of concept for corporate treasury management and integration with Bitcoin. And we can see that they went from about a $500 million company to a multi-billion-dollar company. I would say, I can't say entirely from, but what would you say? It's about 99.7% from the integration of Bitcoin. So we have a great bellwether that other corporations can at least look to, that this is something that you can basically weather even some of the downtrends in price over time. Long term, this is the way to go. So what's interesting to me is that 1 to 2% allocation speculation. They're saying what that would mean for Bitcoin price. And if we see more of stuff like this, 23%, 5%, 8%, the one thing we have to remember, if you ever think $100,000 for Bitcoin, if you compare that to traditional assets, is expensive. If you think $1 million for Bitcoin is expensive, look to Berkshire Hathaway, which was trading in February at $600,000 a share. So it's not out of context for something like Bitcoin, which is actually a better asset. I mean, I couldn't be more bullish.
600,000 a share?
$600.
Oh, $600.
1,000.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I was surprised when I saw that too. I was like, let me check on this. Gary Cardone is one to put me on that one.
That's a big one. They they got a lot of cash sitting on the sidelines. But we know also Warren Buffett, although him and Charlie Munger, may he rest in peace, said Bitcoin is rat poison. One of Berkshire Hathaway's largest positions is Nubank in Brazil, which does Bitcoin.
Bitcoin exposure.
Now, we always talk about BlackRock. Well, in this case, there is a second best. And the second best is Vanguard. Vanguard, up to this time, has been pretty vocal against Bitcoin, right? They're like, we're not going to offer it. We're not going to allow our people in the funds that we have to get exposure to Bitcoin. That could potentially change. And we're talking about a asset manager that controls over $7.5 trillion in customer assets. Let's take a look at this tweet from Eric Balkunas, a senior ETF analyst over at Bloomberg. Salim Ramji will be the new Vanguard CEO. He used to head up BlackRock's global ETF business. First time ever, Vanguard hired outsider as their CEO. Every other one was internal star and former Bogle assistant. Interesting, semi-shock. Let's listen to Mr. Ramji. This was a few months ago on Bloomberg talking about the Bitcoin ETF when he was the head over at BlackRock. Listen to this.
Yes. With you, but we have to start with the Bitcoin filing. Of course, BlackRock really made waves and then some with that mid-June refiling for a spot Bitcoin ETF. And I think we've all learned a lot about surveillance sharing agreements in the past couple of weeks.
Right.
I want to talk about the fact that it's a partnership with Coinbase. Why is Coinbase the right partner here?
Well, Katie, and you'll forgive me because I'm limited in what I can say because there is a live filing around it. And so let me try and answer your question with two broader answers, which is the first one is that the underlying technology that underpins Bitcoin and the blockchain technology is something we're incredibly excited about. And we're incredibly excited about it because it removes frictions, or at least has the promise of removing frictions across the ecosystem. And for us in the role that we play, which is all about how do you take out friction in the ecosystem, whether it's a custodian, whether it's trading and settlement times, I think the underpinnings are really, really powerful for us. So that really sparked our interest in this whole area a number of years ago. And the second thing is all about access. So,
anyways, dude's bullish on Bitcoin. I'm sorry.
Great analysis.
Yes. People who work in law enforcement, people that are detectives, right? they're taught that there's no such thing as coincidences, right? Is it a coincidence that Vanguard came out so vocally against Bitcoin? A few weeks later, their CEO decides to step down, and the guy they brought in is a Bitcoin bull that worked at BlackRock, and the first time they've ever promoted someone to CEO that wasn't from within the company. Is this all a coincidence? I say no. Robin, what do you say?
I say,
Here we go with Robin's take. You know, man, it's just probably just business. You know, they just found the best guy. Come on, man.
yeah.
You can't sit here and say that Bitcoin had nothing to do with the decision, right?
Bitcoin had nothing to do with that.
You're okay.
I mean,
there's no, come on.
Okay. I don't want to say nothing to do with that. Here's the thing: they've made their wealth. They've made their wealth off of traditional money, off of their customer base and their portfolio. And
100 years ago, we're riding horse and buggies. Now we have cars.
Do you think that they've lost a major amount of customers?
I think they've lost enough to bring in a Bitcoin bull to run their company. I don't know, man.
I think it goes to the statement you made, which is true. They've never hired up to that level, executive level, that was outside of the company. So why would they hire outside of the company somebody that specifically led the charge on the Bitcoin ETF for BlackRock?
Thank you.
Unless they were doing that. And in addition to that, they also, I don't know if this proposal has gone through already or not, but I do know that they are having some issues with a little bit of client bleeding or, basically outflows, because they're now imposing $100 a minimum fee for people that are basically withdrawing funds from their services. So whether or not it's for Bitcoin or they need a changing of the guard, how can you change of the guard with somebody without expecting that this is part of their playbook? You have to assume that that's going to be some part of their vision for the near future.
I'm so happy we have someone with some. Thank you. Robin, I'll give you one more chance.
Come back to the light.
You know what? I do think that perhaps in their strategy, they're looking for someone that has an open mind and doesn't shut the door to an asset like Bitcoin. But I don't think that if they were really wanted just strictly someone that, if they really wanted Bitcoin, they would have just said, hey, you know what? We're going to offer this. I don't think they needed to change the CEO and bring in a new one and then be like, hey, this guy is going to accept your Bitcoin. Like, no, if they really wanted to change their Bitcoin position, they simply could have just changed their Bitcoin position. Now, I do think that maybe they're looking at someone who's a little bit more progressive, that takes a little bit more risk, that has talked about Bitcoin, that has success about BlackRock. I think that's all plays into it. And I'm sure they probably had some internal discussions on Bitcoin and like, maybe we should reevaluate it. But I don't think that was a key driver in hiring. I think when you look at the assets under management, what percentage is Bitcoin for even BlackRock, for these other asset managers? I mean, these are giant multi-trillion-dollar asset managers. I mean, Bitcoin is on its own, just $1 trillion asset. And so,
what are the chances of Vanguard launching a Bitcoin ETF when they get their new CEO?
I would say forward looking. I don't think they'd put anything out immediately, but if forward looking, I'd say 2 to 3 years. I think it's highly likely.
And it wouldn't have happened under the real CEO.
No,
but I think considering that he came from BlackRock, I wouldn't be surprised if somewhere in the near future, I don't know if it's 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, that they will start allowing, their client base access to various different ETF funds, and BlackRock would probably be at the top of that list.
Interesting. There are some other people buying. So this is from Bitcoin News. Investors bought 70,000 Bitcoin ahead of the U.S. CPI data release, which fell 0.1% from last month's reading to 3.4% in line with expectations. Speaking of, let's talk about the CPI numbers today. And we'll get into some SHIB news. So headline CPI 3.4%. We all know that's probably a lot higher, but hey,
did things get cheaper?
Yeah, dairy got cheaper. And
wow.
yeah, dairy and
wow.
I think it's if you don't account for the things people use on a daily basis, then I think that the prices are coming down. But them cutting out, not including fuel and coffee now that they've reduced out of the CPI reading, it's just it's such a crafted narrative number from our government.
Yeah, it's so good. You also got to remember this year was the first year that they went from a 24-month CPI or basket of goods reading to a 12-month. Very interesting. Core came in at 3.6%. Used cars, if you're into a used car, those are down. So there you go. That's good. Right?
I was going to resell mine.
Wow.
So.
But motor vehicle insurance, a service that every single person has to have by law, is up 22%.
Unless you don't have a motor vehicle.
Wow. Unless you're like Robin and you still do the horse and buggy thing.
That yeah.
And I want to share this. So Bitcoin gains 4% on easing U.S. inflation data. Let's take a look at BTC. Nice green candle here with a little bit of volume backing it up. Bitcoin is currently trading at 65. Damn, 65. Is that 65.3 or 65.5? $65,295 for BTC. Are we going to break out of this bull flag here? And I'll kind of drop some lines here for you guys. It's not a perfect bull flag, but, I believe it is. And so for BTC, can it break out of this flag or at least this descending channel? It kind of has. Are we going to see a retest, a bump and run? Are we going to see a straight shot to the next level, which is that 67K level? And then a lot of resistance right around 71,500.
It was almost a month ago that we were over 65,000. So, I mean, this is a pretty big reversal. I'm very excited to see if we can, hold over 65,000 or if this is just short term, just CPI rally. But if we can get all the way over to Monday over 65, I'll be.
But yeah, what we really want to pay attention to here is the excitement of the market as this does. I mean, think about how quick this flipped in 14 hours from the feeling in the market yesterday to today with just this small rise. Because of that, we have to also understand that there's going to be people buying into this rally, and we want to pay attention to the likelihood of open interest and positive funding fees. If you have high positive funding fees rising with open interest, that suggests that not only are derivatives and leverage positions being opened, but that means they're being opened long because you're having that positive funding. And if that is the situation when we hit 67 or if we hit 74, then I would be a little cautious there for a washout down before we go back up. So right now we're setting the stage. It doesn't mean we're all the way out the door on the stairway to heaven, but we are knocking on it right now, baby.
Your sentiment, Robin. What are you thinking for price action? You think we're going to see a dip back below 65K? Do you think this rally is going to be sustained?
Well, why is, I mean, you have to really unpack what is going on with the markets, right? And why did we rally? And as you alluded to here just a couple minutes ago, was CPI data just came in pretty bullish. Why is that bullish for Bitcoin? Why is the markets rallying? Well, it's because this is the key indicator for the Federal Reserve to adjust interest rates. And we've been expecting a rate cut to come. And we were actually expecting the rate cut to have already come this year. There were talks coming from Jerome Powell and some of his previous press conferences that alluded to rate cuts coming later on in the year, but inflation had held a little stronger or had been a little higher than expected. And so we haven't seen that rate cut. And, essentially, if you were to look back at the history of the short-term history of the Bitcoin, the top essentially for Bitcoin in 2022 was with the rate cut or with the rate hikes. And so when we went from a 0% interest rate and we moved up to that 0.5%, the 1%, the 2%, with each subsequent increase, we saw a drawdown on Bitcoin. And now we're finally at a point where the Federal Reserve is about to reverse the trend, and now we're about to start cutting. Also, we're in an election year. And so we know that the executive office is probably pressuring or at least nudging the Federal Reserve to ease the interest rates. And in doing so, will spur economic activity, which will, incentivize people to borrow money, refinance. And all of a sudden, You have people that have more money that are sloshing around the markets that are there to invest in Bitcoin. And so, what does this CPI number mean? Why are we over 65K? Well, inflation's coming down. More than likely, we'll get a rate cut on the interest rates, which will spur economic activity, which will essentially see more money flow into the speculative markets, particularly Bitcoin. And so I think it could be. Like I said, I think if come Monday we're at 67,000, 68,000, I feel pretty confident that the next Fed rate meeting will come out with a rate cut, and which will be pretty damn bullish for the markets.
And you know what?
I don't think that's
Everybody says sell in May and walk away. It's been a regular thing, especially even within Bitcoin the last few years. I think because of the stacking different elements that are surrounding the context of the markets right now, I think that we're actually going to have a very bullish summer. I think we have NVIDIA May 22nd. That's also a full moon, May 22nd. It's also what's coming on into I think the time horizon with where we're at, with how much time we consolidated previous cycle all-time high when we were fighting at 17 to 19,000. We're doing the same thing now. We just need to kind of shake out a little bit of the last weak hand. So I don't want any of you to be those weak hands shaken out. We're looking for dip buying opportunities right now. And if you missed a move on a green candle, wait for the pullback. It's going to be bullish.
There are no pullbacks, right? I don't think we're going to get a rate cut. I think if the Fed looks and says, "Oh, the markets are pumping," they're already starting to tone down their QT, right? Qualitative tightening. Instead of rolling off, I think the number was 60 to 90 billion off the balance sheet. They're now reducing that to around 25 billion. And so, money printer go burr. I don't know if we're going to see if the Fed sees that inflation is coming down. It's not at their target at 2%. But the markets are rallying. What reason would there be to cut? Who knows? But we do know typically when you get a cut immediately, especially when the yield curve has been inverted for so long, we could see some downward pressure. But we know Bitcoin, if we continue to see the buying from the ETFs, from retail, who knows where that can take Bitcoin. Let's talk about SHIB. The project once Robin hated on all the time. Now it sounds like he's becoming more bullish. And Robin, I'm curious, is this going to make you more bullish on SHIB? As adoption is soaring, SHIB is now accepted at major retailers with the CoinGate integration. CoinGate, a Lithuanian blockchain payment processor, added support for it on Polygon and the BNB chain. According to a post, the meme-inspired cryptocurrency can now be used as a payment method at major retailers, including Steam, Nike, Spotify, and Air. BNB, a little background on CoinGate. As mentioned, they're a Lithuanian company. In Q1 alone, they processed just under 394,000 payments, or one every 20 seconds. And this is what their chart looks like. Currently, Q1 of 2024, 41% of the payments came via Tether, 19.6% Bitcoin, Litecoin, Tron, ETH. Now we can throw SHIB into that pie. Where do you think SHIB fits in here, Robin? What percentage do you think SHIB gets here? And does this make you more bullish on the project?
I can't get behind SHIB right now. I think that if you're going to take for me, if I'm going to take a flyer on a meme coin, especially at the top 20, I feel a little bit more. Feel like there's a little bit more upside potential with Dogecoin in that category. Now, I'll never dismiss memes altogether. The community, if you get one bullish narrative, one super celebrity to tweet or a politician to discuss, you can see a 2x in the markets, and so there's money to be made there. I won't discount that, but if I had to line up some of the strongest altcoins as far as the market cap in the meme sector, I think I like Doge a little more so than Shiba Inu, and I know that they're expanding on payments, but I mean, really, who is? I think this is more of a speculative, meme's more of a speculative asset. I don't think that this translates to a very bullish scenario, extremely bullish scenario for meme coins. I think when you come into layer ones, when you talk about Bitcoin, when you talk about Ethereum, and I think when you have that utility expanding out into payments, I think it actually means something because the community's there trying to use it, right? And I think that majority of that market cap in the meme coins is people speculating that like it for the community, that like it for the memes. They like being in those Telegram and Discord channels. And
How could you fade SHIB? You know, first the taco trucks, now the payments. How do you fade SHIB?
But who's the buyer of SHIB? There are some whales out there, sure, but I would say, wouldn't you agree, Robin? I'm on your side with this, because wouldn't you agree that the far majority of people that are going to come in and speculate in SHIB are probably some of the less integrated crypto folks in the space?
yeah,
And so are those people also going to set up their SHIB into a wallet that goes out and does payments?
I don't think so.
I'm not. Here's the deal. I don't want to be the guy that says it's not possible, because now it's just like Bitcoin to the dollar, 15 years ago to now. So it can happen with SHIB. I'm just saying there seems like there's a bit of a barrier also because of the type of person that is probably buying SHIB.
I won't dismiss the upward price movement or potential of SHIB. I mean, it is 3x away from its previous all-time high last bull market cycle. So from a historical price position, will it get to its previous all-time high? I think so. And, and I do think that we'll see that this bull market cycle. I don't think it happens within the next few months, but, perhaps in October, November, December, getting a position on Shiba Inu right now could net you a 3x. I think that's pretty realistic. Like I mentioned, for me personally, I look at SHIB at a $14 billion market cap, Doge at 22. That they're pretty neck and neck, right? And I think that with Elon Musk and the X integrating the money transmitter license or registering their money transmitter license in all 50 states, having approval in over 20 the last time I checked, I think that obviously Elon pretty damn bullish or pretty vocal when it comes to Doge. I think that the integration of Doge is as a payment in a native wallet that runs, on X. I think that right there is pretty bullish, right? I think that as a token of the social media platform, because the X native wallet or digital app that offers a financial services, it's not going to have its own token, right? You don't think Elon Musk is going to do a X token, right? I don't, at least. And so,
not with all the problems he's already consistently had with the SEC.
So I think by default,
They just called him to testify again.
Yeah.
So I think by default, what we're going to end up seeing is Doge almost comes up and fills that role, right? It ends up being almost the native token of X. I think it ends up being kind of the outside of perhaps Bitcoin. I think that's the go-to token that people interact with on the X platform, and that's around the corner. And one thing I've learned about Elon Musk is he brainstorms an idea, and I mean the dude, you can't stop it, right? I mean, he's all like, "Hey, I'm gonna do electric cars," and then what we see now, I mean, it's the largest growing car manufacturer, top 5 globally as well, number 1 in electrics. He said, I'm going to start launching stuff into space. And, well, we saw what happened there.
That came out of nowhere, I felt like, too. All of a sudden, you had the biggest rocket, and you're just like...
And now he's the leader there. And then you have the solar panels, the Boring Company, you have the Starlink. There's thousands of the satellites now that are offering high-speed broadband to globally, and so he's been very vocal on digital payments and a native wallet and an everything app, as he's said before, when it comes to X. And like I said, I think that Doge ends up being the native token there, I guess, if I could put a label to it. And so for me, I think just the potential upside on Doge versus SHIB, because they're pretty similar in market cap. I think
it's got more potential upside in the meme sector. I mean, look at this. The Trump pump is real. $9.63. This was almost at $10. We know. I see a lot of chatter in the chat here. I know a lot of our community members.
And then we'll be giving a little shout out here in a second. So if you're new, say hello. We'll give you a little recognition, a little pat on the back.
Wow, thank you for that.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Robin's really good at interrupting for really no reasons. No, Rocco. So $9.59. That is where Trump is at now. Now, why is it pumping? We got news that Biden challenged Trump to a
duel.
Yes, a verbal duel.
I challenge you to a duel.
And they agreed. And you take a look at the Joe Biden token, right? The Joe Biden one that kind of makes fun of him. That is up 80%. I believe the RFK coin is up 80%. So when we talk about meme coins, it's all about narrative, whether it's dog coins, cat coins, friend tech, a new chain, a new meta. And you take a look at, going in 6 months removed from the election here. And, Forrest talks about this all the time. Over 40% of governments are having an election year. Are political meme coins a good play here? What are your thoughts, Kelly?
Man, I think this is a sector that you should at least keep a close eye on. And, if you're looking to get another meme coin, if you're up on profits, maybe diversifying into a political meme coin might be a good move, or at least something to consider, right? You do have the upcoming election coming up. With these debates, if you do get some cryptocurrency questions that come up, which we're anticipating we will see, what is that going to mean for these political coins? I think it's going to absolutely rally these markets, and I'll be very curious to see if
even in the general performance of the candidates as a debate, if Trump crushes Biden in a debate, his coin is going to absolutely rocket. But vice versa, I'll say this, and I'm not saying this jokingly, but if Biden crushes Trump in a debate, then I think that you'd see Biden really do well. But it's a narrative thing. So regardless of, even if you care about one candidate or the other,
himself.
Yeah.
There's always a chance of that.
Just
self-sabotage.
You can always slip in the bathtub too. So I'll say I'll say this. We're going to find ourselves in an interesting situation where the fuel for these tokens are there and ready to burn. And what do I mean by that? Well, there's going to be a lot of tour. There's going to be a big tour on these candidates where they go from state to state, these different swing states, to have their rallies, to do their debates. And how many people are going to be standing outside of these political arenas with microphones, ready to ask questions? And you're going to catch some meme coin supporters there, right? You're going to have someone that's like, "Hey, Trump, what do you think about your MAGA token? What do you think, or Biden, what do you think about these meme coins?" And what's going to happen is if you get a response, let's just say someone asked Trump about his meme token, which he has a lot in his wallet. If he even so much as mentions it on air,
or acknowledges
says, "Hey, I really like this thing. I'm holding a lot, and it's outperforming my expectations." If he says anything like that, my God, well, you'll see in the price of that token. And not to say that that's going to happen, but I'm saying that the fuel is there. There are plenty of holders and degens that are going to be at these freaking events, right? Whether it's a demonstration, a rally, a debate, whatever it is. We know that the presidential candidates will sometimes hit 2 or 3 cities in one day. Right? They'll just get on a plane, go to next city, go to one rally to the other. And somebody's going to probably ask them with the microphone in their face.
This is gonna start the Make My Wallet Great Again initiative.
I can get.
And then just even outside of that, man, the moderators I do expect will bring up crypto as a question. Hey, what do you think about U.S. regulation? When it comes to
it gets
crypto,
clicks.
Bitcoin,
But you know what
SEC.
pisses me off? You know what pisses me off about this is that I really wish that crypto and blockchain as a whole did not end up in this. Now it's become like a political dichotomy. You're either for crypto and you must be Republican. Typically, not always. Some of you out there are Democrats, and I have no problem either or. I'm right in the middle of the road. But the fact that the way the House of Representatives, especially when they voted on the last bill to block Biden from
121.
but it's all Republicans voting for that and all Democrats voting against it. Freedom of finance, freedom of you being able to take care of your damn life should not be a political issue. Everybody should be like, yeah, you should have access and the rights to the funds that you hold.
Yeah.
Yeah, but unfortunately, everything's a political issue. Robin, let me ask you a question.
What's up?
You were on the show with me yesterday. Hopefully,
Was I?
You were.
That's so crazy.
Do you remember what meme coin I talked about on the show yesterday, Robin? Well, I kind of compared it to GME. You remember which one that was?
Meme coin.
Yeah,
Was it the CFA?
it was.
Yeah. Okay.
And well, if you guys watch this, and of course, nothing we ever say is financial advice, but if you watched it and you were intrigued enough, you did your own research and you said, hey, you know what? I'm going to throw $200 at it. Guess what? You'd be up over 100%. So this thing is up 127%. Why am I sharing this? I'm shilling our channel. Watch our channel. You will find coins that you can do your own research on. And if you decide to get some exposure to it, you will make money.
Also, another one is up over 100% is our viewership. Yesterday, coming in around 300, we're over 500 live viewers with damn near 200 likes. So Kelly has brought the
Damn, Kelly, 65K Bitcoin, 500 viewers. You sure you don't want to move here?
You know what? Anytime the market might be struggling a little bit, I might just need to take a little trip. I told you, I got that. All of you out there, I tell people about this. They don't believe me. I am not a Frontier Airlines type of guy. I'm a Delta Airlines guy, but I could not pass up. I got a 1-year unlimited flight. You can fly anywhere in the U.S., the Caribbean, Mexico on Frontier. It's only $600. So I might be coming back and forth here, because I got a studio here at my cousin's house. So anytime we need the markets to pump and we need to get the viewership up, I'll show up, baby.
You have a year vouchers of late delayed flights. Congratulations.
I might make it. I might make it on some of them.
Or maybe it's the Kelly Ashley effect. Who knows? Either way.
That's what it is.
I do want to give a shout out to those of you that are new here. We have I Am Grogger, Crypto Lot, Nate, Take Old Biddies, ICP Alpha, Richard B, Sam S, God bless, Craig Wayne, Scott Watson, Wojek, Kansas Stacker, Andre Brown, all of you. Hola! Welcome.
And I see
City Crypto.
And I see a lot of those names also familiar from the BitLab stream. If you are also a BitLab watcher, drop some lab coats in the live chat there. Maybe what's your like count? What's the goal?
We're at 200 exactly right now. Let's set a goal. Let's see if we can get up to 300 likes. I think
if we get to 300 likes, I will personally send $100 USDT to somebody that we randomly select in the live chat. So everybody hit that like button. We're gonna get you.
There you go. So like Robin, if you were witty, you would have put the big old name with the God bless. Anyways,
God bless the Tig Old Biddies.
let's
That's a username.
It is, yeah. I know.
How's Ashley doing over there? How you doing?
You call me old Ashley?
I said old, not old.
Oh, okay. I was just.
Oh, young Ashley. How you doing?
I'm good. I kind of forgot I was here for a second.
Okay,
Ain't nobody talking to
Welcome
me.
back. Welcome back.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You
Appreciate
get
it.
any Bitcoin lately?
I did.
Okay.
Yep. All of it. Every single one I
you
bought.
all the Bitcoin.
Every single one.
All-
There's no more left.
Wow.
I think.
Wow.
Is that how that works?
You're the savior
Yeah.
we needed.
Yes.
But how do
No.
you feel about the current CPI reading?
What does that mean?
Inflation.
Inflation.
Your gasoline went up.
Oh yeah, it's expensive.
Do you feel like it's gone up 3%, like they say, or do you feel like life's a little more expensive?
It's too expensive.
There you go.
I
That's
can't
the
afford
answer.
nothing.
Yeah, that's why she keeps asking us for a raise.
Exactly.
We want to throw it to Robin. We're going to take a look at the markets here.
All right, so let's take a look at outside of Bitcoin, a little bit of more of the altcoin market, see what's up, down, and all around. You got Arweave up 18%, 22 on the week. Immutable X up 17%, and then Say up 14%. So a lot of green, over double digits on a ton of the market. You can, go all the way down to Phantom, Jupiter, Fetch AI, Near, Beam, Floki, Graph, Thor, and the list goes on and on for the green in the market. So portfolios are probably looking good here today. We do have only one Starknet that's down on the 24 hours and the week, but I mean everything on the week.
I wonder why, Robin.
What's that?
I wonder why. Ask me why Starknet is down. Ask me.
Why is Starknet down?
Wow, I'm so happy you asked, Robin. Well, they are one of two top coins that have a big unlock today, as almost 10% of their market cap, Starknet I'm speaking of, is being unlocked today. That is over $70 million. And so this is a resource that everyone watching, especially if you're actively trading, you should have this favorited on your web browser. It's cryptorank.io, and there's a tab towards the top that says token unlocks right here. Token unlocks. Click it, and you can go in here and you can filter in market caps. I do have market caps over 250 million into the max. So whichever coins pop up, but gives you an idea of, hey, if I'm in a long position on Starknet and I saw this a week ago, maybe I exit, maybe I enter a short position, maybe I hedge my bet. And so it doesn't happen all the time perfectly, right? Token unlocks, price going down, but we can potentially attribute some of this to the token unlock for the Starknet token. You mentioned Near. Near is up. So this headline here. So Near shows potential for a bull run. I'm super bullish on Near. Kelly and I were kind of discussing Near prior to the show. Are you bullish on Near, Kelly? What's your insight there?
I'm super bullish on Near because not only is it a great layer 1 protocol, it also in some ways rides a bit of the AI narrative because it started as an AI protocol that then kind of ushered its way into the layer 1 semi-depend scene. So it straddles a bunch of narratives. It's got an incredible community. It's very fast, and it's been around for long enough to have some trust in it. And I was put onto it by a fellow named Didi Taihutu. For any of you that don't know who he is, he's the Bitcoin family guy. Him and his family sold everything they own, cars, house, clothes, business, everything in 2013 and bought Bitcoin. I was doing an interview with him on my show in August, and I asked him, what project are you most bullish on for 2024 and 2025. This is back the end of the summer 2023. He said Near. He thought Near was going to outperform everything. So taking his little mentorship, I just did my diligence.
Did you sell the house and the family?
I did.
The cars?
You sell the family.
Well, my wife and I did get divorced. I did move down to Atlanta, and I'm fully no, it's okay. I'm all in lifestyle and everything on crypto. Every ounce of my energy is here for crypto and community. And just like you guys, I want to make sure people don't make some of the mistakes I made early on, and also help make sure people get accurate and unbiased information. And I applaud you guys because you guys have a great show. Everybody hit the like for the Sin City brothers here because they absolutely have been crushing it this last year. And I'm happy to be here.
We're happy to have you. I want to ask you guys a question. So the Bitcoin family guy, right, sold everything for Bitcoin in 2013, right? If you had to do the same for one coin now, which one? What would it be? Whoever wants to go first can go first.
I'm kind of scrolling through the market here.
But you have to give us a time horizon. This is like what you're doing for the next 5 years or 10 years or just this bull run?
This bull
run. This bull run. So if I'm selling the farm for...
We know Rocco's answer, XRP, right, Rocco? Sorry.
Luna?
You never ask for my opinion anyway.
No, because I know the answer. That's why.
You don't know the answer.
XRP.
You're going to sell my Neo.
Yeah. Oh, Dash?
Dash.
This bull
It's a hard question. It's a hard question.
I'm pretty bullish on ICP. I think they're going to be one of the... Because I wouldn't want to take on too much risk. So... Yeah, I mean, I probably would just... I had to fade Ethereum as far as just return. I think Ethereum's a pretty safe bet, though. Solana might be a little overextended. You never know with the Fire Dancer outages. Just I feel like it was a little bit of risk there. Yeah, I mean, I think Chainlink might be a good pick, but I think ICP would probably be, I think one of the strongest upsides.
I was going to say ICP or Near. I think Near still has a lot of upside, even though it's trading at almost $8. I still think Near has a ton of upside, but I was going to go with ICP. What about you, Kelly?
Yeah, Near, but then you know what? You had to say one of the probably best assets in the crypto ecosystem, Chainlink. It's hard. Yeah. It's hard not to even consider that one as being, if you're going to only have one, because it's probably among the most integrated. And not only is it integrated within the crypto ecosystem, Chainlink is all about integrating real world data, basically Web 2 and real world data into Web 3, into crypto and blockchain. So the only other one that would be on my mind potentially, but it's not up there, is sell everything and bet the entire farm on it would be Polkadot.
Really?
Yeah.
Polkadot?
Well, they've got the Polkadot 2.0 rolling out. They're doing a huge number of improvements on their chain. They got a token burn going, coin burn that happens with what they're doing with something called Core Time, which actually incentivizes and helps support developers developing on Polkadot, their ecosystem and their what do you call it? Not subnet. Parachains. Their parachain structure. I mean, even BitTensor is built on one of the parachains. They have a huge ecosystem, but I would go near Link.
I'm a little disappointed in you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did a video. I ranked the top 10 layer ones, and Dot was in my C tier.
Hey, that's okay, man.
Yeah.
This is why everybody, this right here, two people that have been in the market for years have a pretty broad view of what's going on in the market. This is why the market oscillates the way it does, because different people have different things they're looking at, and they're doing it with a different risk appetite. And so even if you think something is the best, it might die, it might fail. If you think something's the worst, it might pump out of nowhere. This is why you need to have a bit of a broad exposure across your portfolio to protect yourself, but also understand that this market is a beast and it's here to eat you alive if you're not prepared to be patient.
Yeah. I'm curious. So I asked Kelly and Rob the question, right? So Rob's was ICP. Mine was ICP or near. Kelly's is Dot or Chainlink.
No, I said near or Link.
Near a Link. Okay,
Yeah.
near a Link. I want to know in the chat, if you had to sell the farm, sell all your assets, your home, your cars, sell everything and put it into one coin for this bull market, which coin would it be? I want to know. Let us know in the comment section. Okay, Rocco, I'm curious. What would your answer be here?
I apologize. I wasn't following I was working on the chat. So
If you had to sell everything and you could only hold one coin, what would it be?
I will hold Bitcoin.
Bitcoin? Okay.
I'm older. I guess I'm gonna play safe.
Which makes sense, right? Which makes sense. The whole idea, I mean, you look at it from the perspective of, hey, the typical retirement portfolio investment advisors, what do they do? Typically, as you get older, you go more into cash and cash equivalents and bonds and treasuries versus, risk on assets like stocks. And you go more into commodities as you get older. So it kind of makes sense. But I feel like, the three of us at this desk here, we still have a little more runway to go. So I feel like the risk appetite could potentially be there. And if you're in your 20s, now is the time to be taking risks.
I will say, though, I have to make a caveat. I was under the impression that the question was about if you had to hold anything other than Bitcoin. If I had to only hold one and Bitcoin was on that docket, I would hold Bitcoin over everything else and sacrifice some gains. If I had to only hold one, if I had to sell everything.
We were talking about for this market cycle.
Yeah.
So even in a 2 or 3 year time window, you still hold Bitcoin over in alts.
Oh, man.
That's where I differ. Now, if
this is
this
why
was,
I had a diversified portfolio.
if this was simply, hey, buy now, set it, forget it, it's 100% Bitcoin.
Yeah.
If I'm diversifying it all on a 5 to 10 year time horizon, or sure, throw Ethereum in there, maybe Chainlink, but outside of that, I'm pretty much just gonna go all on a Bitcoin.
Y'all are scared
on a shorter horizon. I think this bull market ICP is pretty strong.
Hey, my portfolio this cycle, and I've been sharing it with all my members. I started stacking into an only altcoin, no Bitcoin, no Ethereum portfolio. And it nears the number one in there. I think Matic's the second one up, and then I can't remember what but it's a pretty broad array all the way down to things like OR and J and Mint Layer and Stacks. And I got a broad experience.
There's a lot of good projects out there, man. And there's a lot of good people in our community. One of them is none other than the Sin City hype man himself, Jimmy. It's been a while, but he's dropped 50 gifted memberships. So, Jimmy, big shout out to you.
And then also big shout out to all of you that are new. A lot of new faces here. We got Rokinos Samanth, Jorn, Crypto Wanderer, TRD, Sam S, Seymour, Greg D, Calvin Beans, Art H, Jacob Bite, Chief Santana, Florida Man, Goda. We got 2K, Mwahaha, Vivek T, Easy Rider, Creed, to all of you. Hola! Welcome to Sin City Crypto.
Crypto 101 said Terra Luna. Oh, a lot of upside there, huh?
Yeah. I want to know, what does the chat think about some of these projects? We'll do a 1, 2, 3, 4. You have a 2-year time horizon. Put a 1 for Bitcoin, put a 2 for ICP, put a 3 for 1 Bitcoin, 2 ICP, 3. Which one was the other ones we were talking about? Near, and then we want to do Chainlink. All right, so Near will be 3, Chainlink will be 4. I'm curious to see what we'll see in there in the chat. Once again, 1 Bitcoin, 2 ICP, 3 Near, and Chainlink 4. What one of those 4 assets would you hold on a 2-year time horizon?
I picked 5, SHIB. Just kidding. I did mention at the beginning of the show, big news for Robinhood and Solana. So staking is coming to the Robinhood platform for the Sol token. As this headline reads, Robinhood rolls out Sol staking to the European markets. On May 15th, the company announced its first crypto staking product exclusively for European markets. Robinhood customers can now stake Solana and receive a 5% yield through the app. It goes on to talk about their competitors, including Kraken and Binance, are offering 5% and 8% respectively. I mean, this is pretty big for Solana, right? Obviously, your token is staked. Can't really sell it, right? So when you start getting that demand surge, if you got a crap load of SOL tokens on Robinhood, the largest retail investing app pretty much in the world, and although this is in Europe and not in the US yet, once we maybe get some clarity, or once Coinbase wins their lawsuit, or maybe the Ethereum ETF gets approved with staking, I think the staking thing is a big factor for why it's not going to come into the US until those things happen, at least one of those things happen. But this could be pretty big for upward price pressure for Solana when the demand starts rolling in, right? I mean, again, Robinhood's a massive platform. Solana, staking, not accessible to sell right away. I mean, what do you think?
I think it's interesting utility. I know this is for the European markets, but I mean, Robinhood pretty much just, hey, buy stocks here, buy crypto, particularly meme coins is pretty popular there. And so it's kind of outside their box, right? I feel like it's outside their suite of services, and it feels like they're leaning more into the crypto markets and crypto utility. Will we see Robinhood operate more as a crypto exchange, or perhaps it'll grow into something that offers DeFi services? Maybe we'll see. Maybe we'll see them do something like Base did for Coinbase, where they had a chain that facilitates DeFi. Maybe they'll have their own kind of Robinhood chain built on Solana. I don't know, but I think that it represents a shift in the Robinhood culture, right? Because what was it built for? It was built for an app on your phone that was pretty much free trades on stocks. That was kind of their business model. And now we're seeing that, hey, they're offering staking on Solana. I think this speaks a lot louder than what the narrative is, right? Because I haven't seen this article I haven't seen this article before today. And so I don't know. Kind of interesting. I feel like am I the only one that's pretty bullish on this, right?
I'm pretty bullish. Kelly, are you bullish?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely a bullish thing. It's just, I mean, access, these different networks and these community providers, like you just broke it down very nicely there, Robin, regarding, Robinhood stepping out of the whole, I mean, even E-Trade was a much easier access for retail when E-Trade came out, but then that was still had a bit of a barrier to entry. And then now that we've had iPhones and Androids or whatever your smartphone may be, having these apps gives such immediate and ease of access to so many people. And so even if something right now, if the majority of people aren't using something for staking, if they have access to the Robinhood app, the app itself also acts as its own sense of positive promotion around the different types of things that are available in crypto. I mean, because the average You guys have savings accounts? I mean, I used to. I don't.
Do not start that conversation with Robin.
I shut mine down. Yeah.
But the point here is, it's called a savings account, and somehow the savings rate on a savings account is so freaking low. How is it even a savings account? It doesn't even account for making up half of what the average inflation rate is every year.
They were charging me $20 a month for my savings account fee.
You opened up a can of worms.
$20 a month, and I couldn't even bring in enough interest.
But this is my point.
To cover the fee.
So when you have somebody using an app like Robinhood, and they might be completely agnostic, completely outside of the crypto space, and they see something like staking, you're like, you're telling me I can get what for staking this? I mean, it's just, BlackRock, Coinbase, Kraken, Fidelity, Crypto.com. The list is long, and it's getting longer with it's what's becoming mainstream crypto institutions paying millions and hundreds of millions of dollars a year for promotion of these different types of things. But the real promotion is when somebody opens up an app and goes, well, I can do this. Or, oh shit, I didn't even know this was available. Wait, you can do this in crypto? So I think the function of what it's actually promoting is actually going to be more impactful than the fact that they're activating staking on Solana in Europe.
Yeah, I think the big hitter here is going to be, will it come to the U.S.? And if it does, I think that'll have a direct impact. But nonetheless, it's good, right?
Yeah.
And then one more thing on Solana here. For the first time ever, on May 12th, so 3 days ago, Solana generated more total economic value than Ethereum in a single day. This includes transaction fees and MEVs. Solana brought in $2.2 million, and Ethereum brought in less than $2 million.
Are you still? I can't say the ETH thing is dead or that they're gonna disappear or whatever. But is the majority of the transactions for DeFi and for community layer ones, dApps building and growth, is it gonna move over to Solana? Because I was under the impression that Ethereum, I would say like a year ago, I was thinking, man, Ethereum's really just kind of getting ready, and we're going to see what we saw out of the community last bull market. We're going to see that again in Ethereum, but even stronger, right? But I think that with the network congestion, with the fees still being an issue, and Solana is making up a lot of ground.
Plus, they throw banger events, man.
Yeah, the Istanbul.
Solana. And then we gotta have Kelly just stand up and look kind of uncomfortable. What are your thoughts, Kelly? What are your thoughts on what he's saying?
So Solana more activity moving forward than
I think Solana. I think there's two different types of players, right? I think Solana has a huge impact and contest within the space against Ethereum. However, it also has, somewhat persistent issues. And I'm not saying that should absolutely count Solana out into the future, because they're, like all projects, working on things, right? So that, all those things will be worked out in the end. However, because of that, I do think, when you have blue chip type of corporations and very large, different partners that are trying to figure out how to integrate in blockchain or utilize blockchain. On the one hand, we see some of these investments that we're all making and like, oh, this chain's faster, Casper's faster, or but then you have Ethereum that's been around and doesn't really have downtime. And even that metric that you just showed also speaks to the fact that we're coming to a period right now that I don't want to say suppression, but there's a huge retraction of activity on Ethereum right now as people are kind of waiting to see what's happening with the ETH ETF. But moving into the future, remember how big the ETH ecosystem is. The Ethereum ecosystem is so much bigger than almost anybody realizes. Because when you consider even like, for instance, how many transactions happen on USDT Tether and that on the ERC20 ecosystem there, that's all in Ethereum. Then you got Polygon, then you got, Cosmos. I'm not going to list them all because I'd be here for the next 30 minutes. There's so much of the crypto economy built on Ethereum. I don't think Solana is going to replace it. I do think it will and should take a big share of it. And that's what a good free capital market should be about, is having different types of protocols that are slightly used in different ways for different reasons and with different security in mind, So I think that's kind of where my stance is on.
So what I got here is the total TVL, and you can see Ethereum has around 57%.
There you go.
Dominance, but we're moving into a world of interoperability to the point where from any blockchain, whether it's Near, Avalanche, Solana, insert name here, you're going to be able to dip into the liquidity pool of projects like Ethereum, of projects like BNB, of projects like Solana and Avalanche. So I think it's going to matter less where's all the liquidity if you have access to it from a Near account, from an Avalanche account. So I think ETH dominance over 22%, I think those days are gone.
Yeah.
I think those days are gone. I mean, we take a look at where it is now. ETH dominance is at around 15.2%. I don't think we ever see ETH dominance over 20% again.
And you know what? One of the biggest narratives, I think, and it's so hard to predict when, but the real world asset tokenization, that could absolutely pop off this cycle. It may not, because some of those things take a long time to integrate, especially if you're doing real world asset tokenization of securities or other tradable assets. There might be different, multi-level layer of approval. Who knows? But I've got a pretty big exposure to that sector. And the reason why I bring that up in relationship to Ethereum is that's a perfect example where something like even Solana, which isn't, fully saying that they're in RWAs, any smart contract platform technically could be utilized for a real world asset tokenization. But when you see things like Avalanche, I think Near, we also have Ondo, we have a lot of different protocols that are specifically RWAs, but then you also have the smart layer 1 and layer 2 smart contract platforms that I think once the volumes truly starts to come into those, there's, trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars that I think are going to be integrated into the blockchain sector because of, the tokenization of assets. It makes it more transparent, makes it more fast. And because of that, I think a lot of those things won't favor Ethereum because of some of the things you mentioned. Speed is one of them. And the other one is, the fee, the variable fees and the gas fees and stuff like that. You're going to want to have stuff that doesn't cause an impact to the price just because it's been integrated onto the blockchain.
Yeah, I think, again, as we enter a world of interoperability, being able to tap into different liquidity pools, I think why pay a $3, $4, $5, $10 gas fee on ETH when I can do it for pennies or zero? Use a platform like Near, they do count abstract or fee abstraction, right? You do something like ICP, they do reverse gas model. And so on the back end, the user who's using the platform doesn't have to pay gas. It's all paid on the back end. So
I did want to say that earlier we proposed a question, 1, 2, 3, 4 from the chat on what you would hold for an asset here in the next bull market. Well, we did get a reply from none other than Andrew Tate. He says, I know I'm supposed to do this. I know I'm not supposed to do this in chaotic times, but I'm about to leave fiat completely and ape 100 million into BTC.
Wow.
So
is he the reason we're pumping?
It might be. So it's actually kind of a breaking news here. It's kind of, obviously giant social media presence, but at the top of Twitter on multiple accounts. So yeah. Big shout out to Andrew Tate.
Wow.
Pretty bullish there.
Yeah, he was also Matt tweeting that he's buying never selling GameStop and AMC. Who knew? That'll do it for the show today. Kelly, if people want more Kelly Kellum, where can they find you?
So if you head over to no, I'm just joking. You can head over to BitLab Academy. It's youtube.com/@BitLab Academy, or you can find me on my Twitter @Kelly Kellum. That's KELLYKELLAM. Love to see you there. I'm the crypto family, man. I'd love to get to know a lot more of you. And thank you guys, Robin. Thank you, Dave, for having me here on the show. I'll probably be back at some point in the near future. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Remember, fix your time horizon. If you're stressed, that means your time horizon is messed up at what you're expecting to happen now. If it's dipping, that means you should be buying, baby.
What if you're out of money, though?
Well, then what do? We mine that fiat. We figure out a way to get some capital flow. Or we go like this. We put these things under our butt cheeks and we sit on our hands. And sometimes you just spend you can buy the dip through investing your
sell the car, and then legally you don't need to have the insurance.
I am
like
literally out of money. I'm broke.
educate yourself. That's an investment in itself.
There's only so much I can deploy, damn it. There's only so much time I have.
Hey,
okay?
crypto rich, cash poor. I've got like $7 in my bank account because anytime I get any straight into this market, stablecoin or an actual purchase, because I do not believe in where we've come from, but I believe in where we're going.
Yeah, mine goes straight from my bank account to the grocery store.
Yeah.
What about you there, Ashley? Any parting thoughts there?
Didn't warm up in here.
Yeah, I'm not cold anymore. You were right, David.
What's in the coffee cup? What do you got there?
Today we got the white chocolate macadamian cold brew with extra nut.
Extra
nut, huh? There you go.
Wow. All right, and on that note, we are going to tornado out of here. Rocco. That's called the finger tornado. We appreciate you. We appreciate our in-guest studio, Kelly Kellum. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you tomorrow, same place, same time. Caspa video coming out today. It's a big video. You don't want to miss it. We love you guys. See you later.
Gonna show you how to get that big dough. So every day stay tapped in. For big facts, no capping. With Bitcoin, if you're in, then you win. We divide the pie with no fraction. It's Big Rob, David. I split the game, but they gave it. Name the coin, it's your favorite. I got dry powder, why save it? To the OGs, new beginners. Special shout out to the well members. Buy dip, sell winners. Ain't really nothing you can tell sinners. Tune in for the latest new flavors. They gonna teach us mean coins. They polarizing like barbecue chicken pizzas. I laugh with a major grin. Laggers, we trade them in. Baddies, they came to sin. And sinners gon' play to win. Screaming, hola, till my bags are flowing over. Hold ya to the moon and to the solar. Won't I? Don't be letting FOMO control ya. It's over when the finger tornado close ya.